My name is Alyssa Keoaly, and this is the beginning of the microcomputer. In this video, I will be summarizing Triumph of the Nerds, companies, people, and products, the surprising truth about what motivates us, where good ideas come from, and Hedy Lamarr, the mother of Wi-Fi. This is Triumph of the Nerds, microprocessor by Intel, integrated electronics. Before the microprocessor, there was the mainframe computer, which was about the size of a garage. The microprocessor was invented in 1971 by Intel, where they minimized the size of the chip by making it go from the size of a garage to the size of a fingernail. Intel changed the way how we work by making the office environment more relaxed, implementing cubicles, having a more relaxed dress code, and they also changed the way how we work by changing the work week. Workers would stay for like 80 hours a week. They practically lived in the office. And now today we have longer work weeks because of that. The Ultra 880 by MITS, Micro Instrumentation and Telemetry Systems. In 1974, MITS employee Ed Roberts invented the first microcomputer, the Ultra 880. The product was a computer kit with no operating system. You had to assemble it by yourself, and it worked by flipping switches for the program. It was very popular and was also very affordable, so many programmers all wanted to get their hands on it. At first, it wasn't functional because it didn't have any program, but later, the co-founders of MITS, Paul Mitchell and Bill Gates, created BASIC, which was the first high-level programming language. This allowed it to be used for more functional tasks. The Apple Computer Company. In 1976, Apple was co-founded by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. The Apple I was released in that same year and made by Wozniak. It showed how computers could be smaller because he made the chip smaller, the microprocessor smaller. He just showed how small computers can be in a functional way. In 1978, Apple II was launched at the Jim Bourne's West Coast Computer Fair. This was one of the first computer fairs, and Apple II was again made by Wozniak. He combined the memories of the monitor and the computer and minimized the amount of chips and the size of chips. What made the Apple II special was that it looked more like modern day computers. So it had a screen and it had a keyboard. And originally, people just used it for fun with programming, and they used it to make games. And people didn't fully see the potential of using it in the workforce and in everyday life. But in 1979, Dan Bricklin designed VisiCalc, which was made to do spreadsheets automatically. Bob Franklin wrote the code, and this allowed computers to be used in everyday life and be used all the time because of spreadsheets with VisiCalc, and now computers are used with everything all the time. The surprising truth about what motivates us. In this video, it talks about testing operant conditioning, which is learning from your actions and how if you reward someone, they should perform better. And the results of this was that rewards like money, they vary depending on the task. So tasks that don't require a lot of thinking, like motor skills tasks, like physically doing things, that will have a higher performance with a high reward. But tasks with lots of thinking and cognitive skills, those will have a lower performance with a high reward because people are more focused on getting their reward than doing the task. 3 ways to better performance and personal satisfaction, especially in the workplace, is 1, autonomy. This is the desire to be self-directed, and many people like to be self-directed in their work environment, so it helps them work better. Mastery, this is the urge to get better at stuff. People want to get better at things and want to do better at things, and it's satisfying and fun to get better at something, and it shows you enjoy. Lastly, purpose, which it's the reason why we want to do it. It's what gets us to want to do the job, and those will all motivate us. Where good ideas come from. Ideas come from slow hunches. Hunches start out from random thoughts anywhere and everywhere in your day. You can have a hunch on anything. And these hunches usually start off as random things that aren't super important, and you kind of brush it off in the beginning. But as time goes on, you may acquire more information to like build off of that hunch. And hunches especially, they build socially. So like hunches from different people come together and they form an idea that's useful and profitable and could be an amazing thing. And these things, they usually take time. So a hunch, it'll usually take years to even decades to really become a good idea. And ideas really are cultivated in social settings and social places where people can come together and share their hunches and ideas and make new things come to reality. Hedy Lamarr, the mother of Wi-Fi, she was born in 1914 in Austria. Her father was a banker who was interested in machines and wanted to learn how to improve the world with machines. This caused her to be very interested in science and engineering when she was very young because of her father. Her mother was a pianist and had her participate in the arts from a very young age, so she started acting when she was 16. Later, she married a fan, Fritz Mandl, in 1933, who was an Austrian munitions dealer. This caused her to learn information about the Nazi Party prior to World War II, and she left the relationship and the country in 1937 and moved to London. In London, she met Louis B. Mayer of MGM Studios, and he was the man who got her into Hollywood, who got her to go to America. In America, she dated Howard Hughes, who was a businessman and pilot. Together, they would work on inventions together, and their inventions were really small and not super significant at the time, but her most important invention was made with George Antheil in 1940, where they were concerned about World War II approaching. Because she knew information about the Nazi Party from her ex-husband, she wanted to do something to prevent things from being horrible. Together they thought of a secret communication system where they used frequency hopping with radio waves. Then they had the transmitter and receiver hopping to new frequencies together. This was the first form of wireless communications ever. This use of frequencies and wireless communications are used today in things like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS. This is why Hedy Lamarr is known as the mother of Wi-Fi. Thank you for listening to this video.